Interested. But let's move on. I'm going to play the Hammer deck. This is a deck we trophied with pretty early into Aether Drift. And I think it's quite a good Mox Opal deck. The Gearhulks give you a lot of grind potential. They give you a lot of higher quality top decks, and you can cast them pretty often turn 2 or turn 3 with your Opals. And let's keep this. Yeah, also, you would play Cloud Post with Amulet if they were both legal, which is kind of an interesting dynamic, maybe. Maybe you wouldn't. Yeah, I think I would put Cloud Post as number 2. Do I want to... I think I'll play the turn 1 Sigarda's Aid. Main deck Haywire Mited. See if they go after my Saga or my Sigarda's Aid. I think they probably go after the Saga. Oh. Okay, well, it's good for me. Do elves get worse with this band? More Titan and energy seems worse than Breach. Yeah, I think elves was probably better in a Breach meta because you could like chord for a fast collector oof. What do you think will be the new best deck in Modern? I mean, it is Amulet Titan, I think. Like, you know, if we talk about the other decks that like just objectively, we look at the other decks that could be. It's like Boros, Black White, new combo deck, Eldrazi, and like at the very end, like I don't think a Frog variant right top of Frog. Amulet is only kind of weak to Frog. It's good against Eldrazi. It's good against Black White. It's good against I think I make a construct here. It's good against a lot of the most combo builds too. Maybe not every combo build. I guess not good against Storm. Yeah, Amulet is weak to Merfolk. That's true. Will new Ugin make Tron the best deck, do I think? So as far as like Tron goes, I think the deck that will emerge is going to be a hybrid of it's going to be an Eldrazi Tron build. Now, it's kind of unclear to me if this is going to be colorless Eldrazi Tron or if it's going to be Eldrazi with a green splash or Tron with a green splash. But if it's a Tron variant, it'll be probably a bit more Eldrazi focused. Now, the thing with the new Ugin is, in my opinion, the new Ugin is so good that you're going to end up playing it basically in every existing deck that plays or has played Ugin's Labyrinth. So Ugin is going to be a staple in these decks, and it's possible that its existence changes like the general construction. Like it's possible that you're wanting to... We don't have a Cauldron. Dang it. Yeah, it could change your general construction, but oh, this is Infinite Life. Dang it, as well. I feel like Belcher is good versus Amulet. I mean, with the Boseijus, is that true? I thought the Boseijus made it where Titan was favored, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so Cage is in, Needle's in. Anything else? Don't know if I want to play Haywire Mite. Probably not. I'm going to keep in the Shadowspear. Let's keep in the Boots. I think I'm cutting the Nettlecyst. No, I guess Nettlecyst is important because you keep a lot of hands that are like Stoneforge Mystic plus sideboard card. If your deck has access to Moon, Magus, or Harbinger. Well, you have all of those? I mean, Magus and Harbinger are close to the same card. I think Harbinger is better because Magus turns on like the Red Sweepers, I guess. How is that Infinite Life? So they have oh, what is this enchantment called? I can never remember the name of it. It's from Aether Drift. They have Dredger's Insight in play, and so they Agatha's Soul Cauldron, Walking Ballista onto their Young Wolf. So what they do is they remove the counter from Young Wolf to the Ballista ability, ping it, so it undies with the counter. You move the counter, ping it, and you do that. And Dredger's Insight says every time a creature leaves your battlefield, you gain 1 life. So that's basically infinite undying triggers. That's infinite creatures leaving your battlefield. That's infinite life. Kath with the 23 months and Ludo with the 28. Thank you. Welcome back. So we have access to a lot of sideboard cards here between Urza Saga and Gearhulk. Let's keep. I think on the play, I can afford to play Temple Garden on turn 1. I don't need to get the Saga. So I would Ink Moth back in here, not care about Infinite Life. Yeah, you do lose Ink Moth because of Gearhulk, although I'll say Infinite Life combos aren't a big part of this format. Also, Ink Moth Nexus not exactly very good against Cauldron Ballista. I think Prophecy came true, getting the Nettlecyst here. Do you have any thoughts on the legacy bans? I don't really like to comment too much on formats I don't play. I used to be like exclusively a legacy player a long time ago, and I've become kind of disillusioned with the format because of the commander cards mostly. Like I really don't love how cards that are designed for multiplayer interact in like a 1v1 formats. Just kind of something that turns me off for the format, but banning troll is a wild thing. But I also like I'm not so in tune with it that I even knew that Reanimator was a good deck in the format. Thinking if I want to play a hammer here or not. I think not. What did I say? Cauldron is a top 10 best designed card in Modern. So many ways to build it, so powerful, but not broken. I don't think I'd say top 10 best designed. But I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't in general I don't love how much text cards like this have. It's kind of nitpicky, but that is genuinely my main critique of the card, I guess. Okay, they brick on the. I guess they could put a land into their hand, but they can't get a creature here. The Mana Troll is a good thing for the format. Yeah, and I'm happy to hear that feedback because, you know, I don't really play Legacy these days, so I'm not someone who I think can really give you the juice on that one. What do you think about a middle ground of monthly BNRs with the expectation that mostly would have no changes? Yeah, that could be good, or even every 2 months instead of every 3 months, or a month and a half, every 6 weeks. But that would be in the right direction, I think. Okay, so I found Sigarda's Aid. Seems like I should be going for just grab Grafdigger's Cage here. Cast Sigarda's Aid, cast Nettlecyst on the Ornithopter, then try to kill them with the hammer. And then if this doesn't work, hopefully we still can cast the Gearhulk next turn for some rebuild post disenchants. Are we going to get another? We are going to get another Boros Dominates the Field again. So one thing that's really interesting about this is that we have this new Orzhov deck, and Orzhov is a mid-range deck that is favored against Boros. Oh no, sorry, I keep doing this every time I circle back to this deck. I do this stupid thing with Nettlecyst, Sigarda's Aid. I need to stack the triggers the other way. Sorry about that. Thankfully they didn't block, so the hammer is actually still lethal. Right? Oh no, it puts them to 1, although 1 is pretty low. Again, I guess I'm having a hard time walking and talking today. But yeah, the dynamic with Boros has like really changed in my opinion, where it was just the de facto mid-range deck, and it was also fast enough and good enough against aggro decks that it pushed other aggro decks out of the format. But now this Orzhov deck is just very solid against Boros, and I've been playing a lot of other decks and just not having that much trouble against Boros comparatively. So it's possible that we have another really dominant Boros season, but I'm kind of optimistic that it won't be like it was. So they have to have removal spell. It seems like they have one, yeah. Eldrazi is not great against Boros. It's just Boros drops the Bloodmoon main to have better match for Breach. I think this is a fine take. Okay, so they killed my Ornithopter, and then they killed my Grafdigger's Cage. So we'll see what they can do. They only have one card in their hand. We've got a Gearhulk coming down next turn. We have a lot of pressure in play. I think that Boros goes back to Blood Moon main. That could be the case, yeah. How is Zoo into Boros? I think that Boros is favored overall, but they can have a really tough time with like you going Leyline Scion, especially if you can like Leyline binding their Static Prison. Okay, interesting that they target the Ornithopter, not the Dryad Arbor. Not a huge deal. The only flaw with that is Moon isn't good against Eldrazi Ramp. I mean, it's not bad against it, but yeah, it's not like a slam dunk. Like, I think Molten Rain is even better. I have not posted the PowerPoint yet. It'll be out when it's out. Yeah, the set drops next week, right? So for those who are lamenting no exciting BNR, we do have a pretty exciting set coming out. Vexing Bauble could be quite good versus decks who expect Force of Vigor. Yeah, I played Vexing Bauble in like Brood Scale a little bit, and I have a little bit. I'm just like never exactly sure how to play the card. I don't know if that makes sense. But I like for some reason it's a card that I just feel like I've misplayed with like almost every time I've chosen to play with it. Okay, so I think we're gonna go Gearhulk into Urza Saga Hammer. Thoughts on Flame of Anor in the upcoming meta? I don't know. It's a bit early to say. When is the PowerPoint out? Yeah, I don't have a date for you. I'm going to be working on it on Wednesday, it seems, because there's going to be maintenance Wednesday. So expect no stream on Wednesday. Expect me to be working on the PowerPoint on Wednesday. But it usually takes me like 2 full days to get there, so there's a chance that it's not done until the weekend, and it's just unclear, but it'll be done when it gets done. Unfortunately, I wish I had a bigger timetable for you than that, but I am just one guy. Okay, so if I go Hammer on the Stoneforge Mystic here, my opponent is going to just get to kill it. So I think what I want to do is make them sack the Halfling first, or not get a card off the Halfling. Should Broodscale play Spellskite main? Maybe. I really like Spellskite main when I was working on like the Fleshraker Keenson stack. Thought it was really good there. You think you'll brew with the new Mox? It's not like super high on my list of things to do, but probably yeah. It's a very deep set, the new Tarkir. It's incredibly deep. Okay, so this puts them to 2 because of the Dredger's Insight, so possible to combo at 2. The Boros guy, the top 8 of the European RCE, says the Boros is very flavorable against Blink. I mean, it's possible that player has like the matchup figured out more than most Boros players, but my experience playing Blink is that you are very good against Boros. So, and I think that seems to be the general sentiment, but it's possible that player understands the matchup in a way that the majority of people, myself included, don't. But like in general, like the main deck relics, the Ketramos, the Solitude Ephemerate, the Fatal Push, like Felia or Flicker Wisp Overlord, less so Felia Overlord, but sometimes Felia Overlord. All of these are very good into Boros. Opponent's disconnected here. Maga changing Mox Jasper deck is probably tier 2-3 with a combo end of Magda deck. So yeah, I mean I think that's like certainly if the new Dragon Mox makes it, I can't really imagine it going anywhere else. Is the new Mox legendary? Why is it that a purely 2-card combo in Through the Breach Emrakul, which is very resilient, minus counters, and for Black-White Solitude doesn't see any play, and only Eldrazi tries it? Well, only Eldrazi plays Through the Breach because you're playing Imprintables to Ugin Labyrinth in 5 drops. Like, simply put, if you could just play Ulamog also is like the next best thing. So if you just can play Ugin's Labyrinth, then all of a sudden you should play K Command, and all of a sudden you should play Eldrazi Temple. You know, this is just the best way to build it. I do think Through the Breach is probably underplayed though. What's the best deck in the format for me with Breach Brand? I mean, it's Amulet, but we'll see. We'll see what maybe something else. Amulet won't be the most popular deck. Yeah, still. What's the best combo deck? I mean, it's Amulet, but like, you know, maybe Broodscale or Storm or Belcher gets to like pop back up, you know. But it is Amulet. Adnaz. We played Adnaz recently. Kethis is looking kind of promising. We're going to be working on Kethis tonight. I didn't see them mention the next announcement date. Yeah, they may mention it tomorrow. Jonah with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Hollow 1 back to tier 1. I think Hollow 1, here's some weird dynamic, right? You know, a big part about, I think, of Faithless Looting not being a big presence in the metagame was like pretty quickly after it got unbanned. Breach became a top deck in the format, and there's a lot of graveyard hate, and then Catchamos got printed, which led to a lot of main deck Relic of Progenitus. So it's like, I mean, Hollow 1 can survive in this format or this environment, but especially with Shark giving you extra resilience to graveyard hate threats. But I do think it's kind of interesting to think about how, like, it could looting become like a big force in the metagame if like black-white becomes not popular. Like, will there be a graveyard deck at all? Will it be Goryo's maybe? I don't know. Mono Urza can be played. Yeah, I think I'm excited about Urza. We played it earlier. It didn't go very well, but we're just kind of throwing a lot of darts at the dartboard and chatting today. The Popper article said June 30th is next announcement. Yeah, I do think Popper is probably... my impression was that it was managed separately, but I might just be wrong. Do you think Eldrazi is going to be tier 0? Yeah, I don't... The weird thing about Eldrazi is that Eldrazi has been good for like the last 9 months, largely because the metagame has been revolving around decks like Boros and resolving around decks like Black-White, and like these big meta decks tend to be good against the mid-range decks. And I do think Eldrazi has a lot of weaknesses. Like it is weak to decks like Burn, and it's really weak to decks like Storm, it's really weak to Titan. But it's kind of tough for like these combo decks to just be the most popular deck in the format. Like even Breach was like, I think, kind of artificially decreased in its percentage because people just don't love to play combo decks. Like if the win percentage for Breach had been the same win percentage for like Boros, kind of like we saw the previous season, like Boros was really high percentage win percentage and really high percentage played because people like to play decks like that. So it's kind of a weird dynamic where like Eldrazi is kind of like almost inevitably going to be good and popular because of how popular decks that it's good against are, if that makes sense. I don't know. Can I ask if there's any interest in brewing with Thopter Sword again? I'm a big hater of Thopter Sword combo. It's something that I haven't done post Mox Opal. It's something that we could possibly do, though. Something we could possibly do. Our opponent has... it's been 7 minutes since they've taken a game action. I think we have 3 more. How would you build Dreadhorde Arcanist Rakdos like before? Maybe in the Izzet Amulet Shell. I don't know. I would be leaning towards Rakdos over Izzet. Popper is managed separately. It tends to follow the same cadence. That makes sense. I'm kind of interested in Popper. For some reason, I kind of want to brew Popper High Tide. Oh, they're talking about banning Luris again in Vintage. Interesting. So they unbanned Prophetic Prism and High Tide. And then Brute Scale being banned is kind of interesting too. But we have a big, exciting like modern set coming out, or standard set that impacts modern. Yeah, Eldrazi's gonna get this new Ugin. This new Ugin's gonna be pretty good, but new Ugin is also not good against aggro and combo. So we'll see. Okay, this might be classic. Opponent leaves for 10 minutes and then comes back and then immediately combo kills you. Yeah, this is Infinite Life. Great. the actual Max Salt. They were gone for 9 minutes. Yikes. It's an interesting hand. I know the answer is probably that I need to play to find out. Do you have any idea on how Simlin's Anvil plays like? I mean, you could look at our old YouTube video for it. It's probably okay. Was it infinite? They don't have the ballista. How did they get rid of the -1 counter? Sorry, I thought they had the ballista. It'd been so long, I forgot. You're right. No. Wait, did they have the ballista underneath? I can't remember. All right, do you have the Asmo? No Asmo? Yeah, you might be right though. Just like Amulet Titan get to kill on turn 2. It was a Yogg and a green card. We definitely still could have lost that turn, but you're right. We did concede a little early. All right. Needle against Cookbook decks is pretty game over. Don't know if I'm going to bring in all the disenchants if I have the Needles. I might just play a second Haywire Mite. It's probably fine. We cut. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough because, like, again, I think when you bring in like really efficient sideboard cards, you want the Nettlecyst. So we will go down like an Ornithopter, a Drum, and a Sentinel. Sentinel's pretty good against them, though. What if we could cut the Boots? Let's cut the Boots. Unceremonious with the gifted sub. Thank you. Do you think Boris Convoke is playable modern? We played it last week and it went okay. We have that build and we have like the Mox Opal Collector's Cage deck, and I think both decks are good or like, you know, kind of playable. I don't think either are like top tier. They're both very weak to Wrath Disguise. Does Natural State not hitting Overlord come up? No, it's not like you want to be bringing him in those matchups anyways. Like I'm not trying to. I wouldn't bring in Nature's Claim to try to kill Overlord, you know. Thanks, Memorious. Glad you're here. Okay, turn 1 Asmo. Could there be another double Mox Imri Tamio combo deck? The most likely is Kethis combo. We've been talking about Kethis today some. Okay, they have the Oval Chase. We draw step to be better against Surveil lands. Have I considered Monument Zoo? I guess not. What's the idea? I do like the Monument Shark deck. I think that's been like our best Monument deck by a lot. It just seems like you probably can't overlap it with Zoo. I guess even Kavu triggers it, and Frog trigger it too. Maybe. I've been playing Eldamri in my green-white Ritual Cell with green-white Kellen, and it's been crazy fun and pretty good. Interesting. How did Dice Factory feel? Still pretty fragile. Weak to being turned 2 combo killed by Titan still, it seems. Shocker. Mox Collector's Cage could be good. I mean, we've played it. It's pretty reasonable. Monument Assault 2. I like that deck also. It's pretty slow. It was like that deck was insane against the black-white decks, and that deck's pretty good against Boros, I think. But it's pretty bad against big mana combo. Top deck manipulation from Kellen helps be super consistent. Has been dropping 1 mana Solitudes by tapping a couple of Pride tokens. Yeah, I've also been looking at Eladamri a little bit. And I'm a little bit unsure, and it's good feedback. I appreciate it. Yeah, if I don't want to play the hammer and then just let it die to Asmo. I think at this point we're not getting out from underneath, so let's go to game 3, keep the show on the road. Yeah, I was thinking about trying to have Eladamri with Primal Prayers. Kind of like the maybe playing also Birthing Ritual, but maybe just Primal Prayers more of as a mana engine, where you just get a Guide of Souls and Eladamri, and then if you have prayers, you just start casting stuff from the top of your library, but not sure. Can the Monument Assault deck also run Sprawl and Moon to counter big mana? That is what we were doing last time. You can. You can go turn 2 Saga token if we want. I chose green-white Eldar because Teague is really well positioned. Is Teague positioned well? It's not as good against Wrath as it used to be. Or sorry, against Titan as it used to be. Obviously, it stops Wrath. I think it's important that I play this, so if they kill my Ornithopter in turn 1, I can still make a Construct turn 2. At some point, we gotta try Mice package in Modern. Maybe we should. Am I surprised at no Man's? I'm just never surprised when it comes to BNRs anymore. I essentially expect for them to do something surprising, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I expect them to kind of go against the general vibe of the format, because this is the one pretty consistent thing, is that they do this. They just don't they don't go with like the community or the general sentiment of what's going to happen. This happens every time, so I'm not surprised that it didn't happen again, which is kind of weird. Like, yeah, you just kind of have to expect the unexpected. That's just kind of cheesy, but it happens basically every time that they kind of try to subvert expectations, it seems. I'm surprised you haven't brewed more Jolted Awakes decks. Thoughts on the card? I mean, I played enough Jolted Awake to think that it's pretty strong, but it is an energy card, and you have to play it with, the other energy cards, which a lot of people like last time I think I played a Jolted Awake twin deck. Maybe I'm misremembering. I know I did Jolted Awake FOMO Kiki when Ring was legal, and you could also Jolted Awake your Ring. That might be the only time I've ever played it, but just not all that. It's a very narrow card. You can't play it in that many strategies. I think I'm just gonna Needle Frog here. So I'm going to get another Needle for Cookbook, and I think that might almost just lock them out of this game. And then I could get another, excuse me, I could get another Urza Saga, but I think with the Stoneforge in my hand, I'm going to get Sigarda's Aid instead. Why no Construct end of turn? They consigned to memory my Saga Chapter 2, so I couldn't make any constructs. This seems very tough for them. Their whole deck is just kind of built around these two cards. Okay, that's Needled. Now they can Emery. They have a couple of Baubles. Get some card advantage. I can't play the Sentinel if I want to hammer this turn. All right, so my 1/2 can bounce off their 1/2 here. Gearhulk just having Trample is also so good in this deck. Here comes the Time Sieve. I mean, they can't really do anything with Time Sieve. Also, if they had Push, you think they would have pushed while they had Revolt on their turn. They might not realize this has Trample. Okay, they may have just realized. Twiddle. I mean, the banning of Ring, I'm pretty off Twiddle. Yogg. Yeah, maybe Yogg. Maybe Yogg. Yeah, Kethis combo too. Just run the 8 Mox package with stock up, maybe. Yeah, I was thinking about trying to stock up in the Urza deck. Sorry, why the need to find a deck for a card, parentheses, Opal? Well, they just banned Underworld Breach, so trying to... We have like 30 or 40 Mox Opal decks, so kind of going through the hits that we've had seems like an important thing to be doing today, right? So we can understand where the metagame is going from here. Could creativity have a go again? Yeah, maybe. Crazy how we're cooking everything but affinity with Opal Ben. Well, we started with affinity here. We have my affinity build is a lot more mid-rangey. We have a couple aggressive builds too. But no, we have a few different affinity builds. Okay, speaking of creativity, it's funny. Because despite a lot of the Mox Opal Doomers, the people who are really upset that Wizards banned Breach instead of Opal, it doesn't exactly seem to me like there is a clear best Opal deck right now. And if you disagree, if you feel like there is a clear Opal deck, I would sincerely love to hear what card you think that, or what deck you think that is. So no Archon of the Yard makes me pretty safe here. Tap land. Alright, obviously they have a pretty bad mold to 4. I think I want to make my construct so I can tap my hammer, or tap it for hammer. And then save this drum in my hand, so if they Archon me, I can not discard my Gearhulk. Any opinions on no changes to Standard? I mean, I haven't played Standard in a few months now. When I was playing, I felt like Up the Beanstalk was a pretty bad play pattern for the format, but I don't feel super qualified to really talk about it, I guess. I think I would have been most interested in a Bean ban. It also did really well at the Pro Tour, right? Seeing you tanky with the 10 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, so we're up a game against creativity, but creativity is, notoriously not a very good matchup for our archetype. I think I'm going to play a Crypt over a Cage. Any chance that creativity comes back? I mean, we're playing against someone who's hoping here. Creativity was pretty bad against Breach. Creativity was pretty bad against Breach. I'm not exactly sure what its matchup spread is overall. So maybe any creativity players could chime in. Like, I think creativity is bad against Boros, bad against Black-White, bad against Eldrazi, bad against Titan, bad against Storm. Yeah, I don't know what we're targeting, I guess, but I could be missing something. It's good against Hammer. Typically. Opal requires extra build around and isn't obviously broken in any decks that aren't Breach. I agree with that also. But I mostly just want to hear what the opposite opinion is. Because there are people with very strong opinions that it was a mistake to ban Breach instead of Opal. That they're very upset about this. And so just to those people, I sincerely want to know where and what deck do you think it's going to be broken in? Yeah, Batter's Frog. Yeah. I'll play this a little slow. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm going to play Kethis tomorrow. I just need some time to cook it tonight. Want a Cage versus creativity? Great question. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't stop creativity. It stops their persist, stops their flashback looting. It does not stop a creativity from putting anything into play. Should it? Yes, but it doesn't. Alright. I'm at Hammer Pro, y'all. How about Jeskai Ascendancy? I think it's worth than Kethis. I think Kethis is going to likely be better, but it's certainly early enough to I agree be asking these questions and trying to figure it out. Opal legal means you need to play it and warp your deck around it or be ready to play against it. Yeah. But I also think that the Opal decks are pretty easy to beat in general. Is Opal even the best card? I wouldn't put Opal as the best card, no. I think the best cards in Modern are like Ugin's Labyrinth, Amulet of Vigor, Guide of Souls, Onslaught Pride, Flage, Psychic Frog, Sowing Myco Spawn. What with this upkeep stop? I guess Surgical my hammers maybe? If they Surgical Hammer, I guess we can try to draw one with our boots. Okay, we drew one. So I guess we start off with the boots. It's because we can give our creature ward. If they bolt in response, we can just hammer. Isn't an affinity just the best shell for it? So I think no. And also when you say affinity, sincerely, like, what build are you talking about? I have played every build of affinity. I've played let's even say hammer, scales, counterspell Urza, blue white mid range, black white Basim, aggro build with Ugin's Labyrinth, aggro build without Ugin's Labyrinth, glaring Fleshraker. I've tried red black with the Image 3 card. I've tried all of them. I think of those, the mono blue Urza shell has certainly been the best performer. And I don't like I don't. It's very much not traditional affinity though. Yeah, I have Tommy. I agree. I put Tommy up there. So I also think I do think Opal is in this range too. I do think Opal is a top 10 Modern card probably still. Yeah, Saga is still very happy. I keep forgetting this on this list. But yeah, so like for this attitude, isn't affinity just the best build? This is something I've definitely heard a lot. But like when we say this, like I don't even know what the best affinity build is. There's not a stock affinity build. Like what does this look like? You know? Yeah, I think I would put Saga over Opal also, but it's kind of weird because they work so well together. You know, it's weird to rank one over another. Is Black-White even good with Breach Band? Yeah, so that's kind of weird, right? Where Black-White is good against Boros, it's good against Frog, it's bad against Eldrazi, it's bad against Titan, but it can be good against some other combo decks. So I think Black-White still stays a presence in the metagame. It's also a deck that people like to play, which is real. OG build with Ravagers Inkmoth. I guess I haven't tried OG Affinity with Ravagers and Inkmoth. However, in my opinion, it's almost certainly the case. Oh no, opponent. In my opinion, it's almost certainly the case that that's worse than Scales. Like, I don't see much reason to play OG Affinity with Ravagers and Inkmoth over Scales. If I'm going to play Ravager and Inkmoth, I'm playing Hardened Scales in my deck, which we have done. Right, on the play in the blind here. Am I making a Dragonstorm spoiler video? I am, yeah. There's maintenance on Wednesday. I'm going to be working on it mostly on Wednesday, I think. Good draw. Are the Ketchup Oculus decks any good? I think that they're a little underrated, yeah. I think that they also... I don't think there's like a super stock like 75 out there. I like the Indrix builds. But yeah, I think those are a little underrated. Basically, every time I play against them, I'm like, this deck seems a bit better than like my impression of it. Which deck would I pick for FNM? I don't know. Like, just the decks I'm streaming with, right? I don't think I've got any specific one that comes to mind. Okay, so kind of like a 2 for 2 here. If I draw a land, I might just Boseiju the Labyrinth and equip. Yeah, I think I'm still just going to Boseiju. Especially because they've already used their Surveil land. Do you think the mono-red Monument deck got better or worse? It was pretty bad against Breach. So it kind of depends on how the metagame shapes up, but probably a net positive, if I had to guess. Would they ever ban Oracle? No, it's not the first time it's been brought up, but it doesn't really make any sense to ban Oracle, I think. Like like some Breach decks didn't even play Oracle. Or there, you know, I know Oracle's a problem in Commander, but it's just such different dynamics here. It's not really even close to being problematic in my opinion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely am I to let you play this in Indy? I think you could play this, but it's a little early to say. It's possible. I let you. So if they have a double land and into K return flashback, you know, good beats, but I think we're going for this. They chump block, so now they can't flashback K return. They did have the double land. Maybe they top deck that. Maybe they miscounted. Maybe they just have K K command. Do I have any decks planned for Corey Steelcutter or just jamming at Boros Energy? That there's like a lot of different ways you can build that one. I don't think you just slot into Boros Energy though, because you need to be playing a Bobble deck. But I'm excited for that one for sure. Did I say Indrix Oculus build? I mean, just no Esper Ketra Oculus is what we're talking about in regards to Oculus. This Kethis combo thing, we're going to work on it tomorrow. Maybe the equip was bad, actually. Okay, so I need to play this drum so my construct survives a K return flashback. Although I guess a boots may be better than a drum here. Why would Kethis combo be a thing now versus before? Well, they banned Underworld Breach today. Kethis is the next closest thing to Underworld Breach. You know, pretty simple, right? Oh, I said Yendrick. Yeah, TSP Yendrick was the... I like his builds of that deck. They can just World Breaker. Well, yeah. Does he yourself want to challenge with Mono Black K command? I haven't seen that super recently. I know that he's done that a couple times. Okay, I boarded out Shadowspear in this matchup before and regretted it. I think I'm going to trim a Gearhulk and let's trim a Drum too. I don't think I want to be really in on the natural state stuff. I've tried that plan and not liked it so much. Yeah, he's still playing like Urza Saga and like Thought Not Seer, the Rack. Do you have a pet deck? Yeah, I've got a million pet decks. Of course. Missing a Surge of Salvation against K return. We've got the Flares. Flare's a bit more versatile, right? Also helps you against other sweepers. My whole life is pet decks. They mulled to 5 this game. One of their cards is a Devourer. Sprawl, Worldbreaker, Chrysalis. So Imprinting. Turn 1 Talisman. Explosives on 0. Oh, explosives on 1, sorry. Quite a good first turn. Do I just put my opponent to 8? This was their mull to 5. Guess I don't really have much choice. They rumble into a World Breaker or a Mana Accelerant. That's an Hollow One. Hollow One's good. You have to be comfortable with variance in your deck, but shouldn't they play the Talisman? I guess they maybe want to keep the Spawn. Yeah, you have to be comfortable with some variance, but every deck's got variance. Should have played this Sigarda Zaid first to scare him. Pretty good mull to 5. Above average, I'd say. So they have one card in their hand. They have 6 mana. They have a World Breaker in the graveyard also. The bans Lava Moto. I'm not sure. Usually, like, the community just kind of auto bans. Saga probably our best draw. Hammer was a little bit better there, but yeah, it was a good draw. Is there a deflecting SWAT type effect in Modern that can reroute multiple targets and steal a K command? I'm sure cards like that exist that are pretty expensive. And then are just kind of bad when they're not on a K command draw. Alright, a little late to the party, Flare of Fortitude. It's a close hand. It's mulligan. Keep this, put back Temple Garden since we don't have anything to do turn 1. Or, I mean, we could play the boots, but I'd prefer to probably draw a card off the boots. Maybe I put back Opal instead. So, yeah, let's put back Opal so that I could just try to curve out into Gearhulk, actually. I think I'd graveyard the Saga. Remember, crazy for thinking New Ugin might want to push the big mana decks towards Tradition or Urzatron rather than the Eldrazi lands. Well, you're going to play both. If you're going to play Urzatron, you're also playing the Eldrazi lands. It's like you're gonna play Labyrinth, and you don't have to play Eldrazi Temple. You have to play Ugin's Labyrinth with this new Ugin. So this can be a splash of green, and you are playing Tron, but you're also playing Mycospawn. If you're playing green, you can do Ugin's Labyrinth Tron with Dice Factory mana as your plan B to get around land destruction. This is something we've done also that could be pretty good. Yeah. Oh, baby. Kill me turn 2. Kill me turn 2. Come on. Well, we're pretty cooked. Not very good to beat Keen since Fleshraker. I guess we can bring in Haywire Mite's Natural States. Let's got the Nettlecyst. The Sentinels seem quite good. I'm going to trim a Drum, an Ornithopter, a Gearhulk. I think we keep on 6. I think I'm gonna try to natural state an Urza Saga here. That one. Yeah, Norn is pretty slow against them. Maybe it's hard to beat. Yeah, I thought about Jeskai Ascendancy, but it seems a bit more interesting to work on Kethis combo. Cool. Why did Tron, Eldrazi, and Breach basically disappear off the face of the earth? I do think that different Eldrazi big mana variants are underexplored, but in general, people tend to just gravitate towards the stock Eldrazi, like Emrakul Promised End build. Oh, we get to untap. Okay. Yeah, I think I want to equip the spear to a sentinel to make it more likely I'm drawing some juice. Can attack for 2 also. Hopefully they don't have a K command, but if they had K command, they would have main phased it, I think, and drawn like a bunch of cards. So if they had tapped the other Saga, they could have sacked 2 spawns to make a construct, notably. I think we main phase this because we could hit Urza Saga. Wait, is Saga historic? Yes, it's a Saga. Sagas are historic. Okay, take the Gearhulk, which can get a Sigarda's aid next turn. If you're not playing E-Temple, aren't you making K command significantly worse? Meaning Ugin is better than command. You could, I'm just saying there are a lot of different ways to build it, and you can. If your mana base is Tron lands, Ugin's Labyrinth, Dice Factory mana. My point was that K command is still good in your deck, and if that's your only Eldrazi spell, like, and you have all these other mana sources, you kind of want to play Saga over Eldrazi Temple in that build. That was the only point I was trying to make. But the main point, which somehow always gets lost, was that there are a lot of different ways to build it. Oh, I realized we were just dead there. Let's play the Collector's Cage deck. I was kind of just doing some vibe checks today.